Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Muhammad Suhail, Assistant Professor of English from Government Postgraduate College, Attak. I welcome you to my online class. The topic for today's discussion is Life and Work of Oscar Wilde. Students, we have discussed the summary of importance of being earnest by Oscar Wilde. And now I want to discuss with you the introduction of Oscar Wilde himself. Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde, 16 October 1854 to 30 November 1900, was an Irish playwright, novelist, essayist, and poet. After writing in different forms throughout the 1880s, he became one of London's most popular playwrights in the early 1890s. He is remembered for his epigrams, that is, the proverbial statement, his novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, his plays, as well as the circumstances of his imprisonment and early death. You know that Oscar Wilde was also imprisoned and he died at the quite tender age of 46. He enjoyed throughout his life a great luxury, but as far as death is concerned, he died in destitute. Oscar Wilde was born at 21st Westland Row, Dublin, now home of the Oscar Wilde Centre, Trinity College, the second of three children born to Sir William Wilde and Jane Wilde, 2 years behind Willie. Wilde's mother, under the pseudonym Speranza, the Italian word for hope, wrote poetry for the revolutionary Young Irelanders in 1848 and was a lifelong Irish nationalist. She remained throughout his life in Ireland, and she was a great poet. So, as far background of Oscar Wilde is concerned, he had been born in a literary background. She read the Young Irelanders' poetry to Oscar and Willie, inculcating a love of these poets in her son. Lady Wilde's interest in the neoclassical revival showed in the paintings and busts of ancient Greece and Rome in her home. William Wilde was Ireland's leading ophthalmologic ear and eye surgeon and was knighted in 1864 for his services as medical advisor and assistant commissioner to the census of Ireland. So, both of his parents were having a, you may say, prominent role as far the uh, services to the country is concerned, or as far their fame is concerned. Two pieces of fiction were usually included, one to be read to children, the other for the ladies themselves. Wilde worked hard to solicit good contributions from his wide artistic acquaintance, including those of Lady Wilde and his wife Constance, while his own literary and other notes were themselves popular and amusing. Wilde published the Happy Prince and other tales in 1888 and had been regularly writing fairy stories for magazines. Oscar Wilde was famous for art's sake. This is what that only seriousness is not what that is the purpose of art should be. He was in favor of art that amuses a person and at the same time it gives education to him. As a spokesman for aestheticism, he tried his hand at various literary activities. He published a book of poems, lectured in the United States and Canada on the New English Renaissance in art, and then returned to London where he worked prolifically as a journalist. Known for his biting wit, flamboyant dress, and glittering conversation, Wilde became one of the best known personalities of his day. Unperturbed, Wilde produced four society comedies in the early 1890s. It made him one of the most successful playwrights of late Victorian London. At the height of his fame and success, while his masterpiece, The Importance of Being Earnest, 1895, was still on stage in London, Wilde had the Marquess of Queensberry prosecuted for libel. The Marquess was the father of Wilde's lover, Lord Alfred Douglas. The charge carried a penalty of up to 2 years in prison. The trial unearthed evidence that caused Wilde to drop his charges and led to his own arrest and trial for gross indecency with men. After 2 more trials, he was convicted and imprisoned for 2 years hard labor. In 1897, in prison, he wrote De Profundis, which was published in 1905. A long letter which discusses his spiritual journey through his trial, forming a dark counterpoint to his early philosophy of pleasure. Upon his release, he left immediately for France, never to return to Ireland or Britain. There he wrote his last work, The Ballad of Reading Gaol, 1898, a long poem commemorating the harsh rhythms of prison life. He died destitute in Paris at the age of 46. So this is the life of Oscar Wilde, and this is how he has been charged of homosexuality, and that is why he has been imprisoned. And after his release from the prison, he got so disappointed and left for France because the hard memories of life he could not bear while he was in Ireland or Britain, because of those hard realities which were attached to Ireland and Britain. As far his life is concerned, he enjoyed a very luxurious kind of the life and a carefree kind of life. But at the end, all the charms of life came to an end and he died a very miserable death. So, students, this is all for today's lecture. Take care and Allah Hafiz.